Okay, so just continuing on from our last video, we had a probability distribution table, and in this example, if you remember, we had two numbers, 1 to 4, we multiplied them together, we had a table and all the probabilities listed. So this is the table again. So probability of an outcome being a 2 is 2 over 16, just for example. Okay, in this video we're going to talk about basically expected values or measures of average and also measures of spread of this particular probability distribution. And when we talk about measures of average, there's a few measures we use, and you think back to data and you think of mean, median, mode, and basically that's what we're looking at. And so we're going to look at how do we calculate the mean or expected value of this probability distribution. So here's an example. We've got our table, and so first of all we're going to be looking at the mean. We usually use this symbol for a mean. It's a Greek letter, it's called mu, and so that's the symbol for mean. We can also call this expected value. So either mu or EX represents the expected value. This is the formal sort of equation for the expected value. You've got this symbol called sigma, x times px. All it's saying is that to calculate the expected value, we take every probability outcome and multiply it by the probability. So for example, we take the probability outcome of 1 and we multiply it by its probability, 1 times 16. That's all we do. We take the sum. That's the sigma symbol. So for expected value for this particular example, we take 1 times 1 over 16, 2 times 2 over 16, 3 times 2 over 16, 4 times 3 over 16. Continue for all the different outcomes all the way through the table. So I haven't written all the calculations there, but basically that's it. And then we just add them all up. So we've got 1 over 16, 4 over 16, 6 over 16, last one 16 over 16. Add them all up, 100 over 16, or 5 and 10 over 16. So saying that the expected value, the thing that you expect to happen if you continue this experiment on and on and on, you expect to get a value of 5 and 10 over 16. Obviously, there is no 5 here, but that's just saying that on average, overall, you're going to get a number between 4 and 6. That's going to be the number that happens the most. That's the expected value, 5 and 10 over 16. So that's a measure of average. Also, we talk about measure of average being also the median. Now, if you remember, median is the middle value. Yeah. So when we're talking about distributions, we're actually talking about the middle value. We're talking about the value that's at 50%. So all we have to do is look along the table until we get to 50%. So what we're doing is going from left to right along the table, and we're just adding all the probabilities until we get to 50%. So 50% when we're talking about over 16, it's going to be 8 over 16, that's 50%. So let's count. We've got 1 plus 2 is 3, 5, 8 over 16. 8 over 16 occurs where the sum is, or the product, sorry, is equal to 4. So our median occurs in this column, which means that our median is 4. So our median would be 4. So that equals 4. What this is saying is that what the median was calculated by saying what is the probability where the sum is equal to a half. What is the middle outcome? Okay. The other measure of centre is the mode. Mode is the number that happens the most. So what's the probability outcome that happens the most? Well, 3 over 16. 4 again is the outcome that happens the most. Okay? So it's just saying what's the highest probability. You can have more than one answer as well. So you can see measures of centre. We've got 4, 4, and 5 and 10 over 16. So those are the things that are likely to happen when you continuously experiment on and on and on. Okay, the other thing we're looking at is the measure of spread. So how spread out is this? Like, we expect that we're looking like 4 or 5 is the number that's going to happen the most, but how spread out? What's the likelihood of getting a 16 or a total of, or a product of 1 in this particular table? And that's the measure of spread. We talk about measure of spread, we talk about two things. We talk about variance and standard deviation. There is also range as well, but we don't use that for these probability distributions. So variance and standard deviation. This is how we calculate the variance. Variance is equal to the expected value with x squared minus the mean squared. Okay, looks a little bit complicated, but not really. Also, we've got this symbol here, which represents represents standard deviation. Standard deviation squared is the variance, so that's the variance symbol there. How do we work it out? So we're saying expected value of x squared. All we're saying is that take the outcome. So the first outcome was 1 over here, 1, and we square it, and then we multiply it by the probability, 1 over 16. Okay. Then we add to the next expected value, 2 squared times 2 over 16, and we continue on. Okay, we continue on. So when we do that, I found that the this ex squared bit is equal to 56 1/4. Okay. What I noticed I just did wrong there, I forgot to subtract. I should subtract minus mu squared. So minus the mean squared. The mean we worked out was 5 and 10 over 16. So I've got to square that as well. So 5 and 10 over 16 squared. Okay, so we worked that out. 5 squared is about 6 squared. It's going to be about 36. 56 minus 36. I haven't got an answer here. It's going to be around 20. Okay, you can work it out and find out what the exact answer is. Around 20, and so that would be the variance. The one that we're looking at a lot would be the standard deviation. Standard deviation as a measure of spread, and that's easy. All we do is you take the answer for the variance and take the square root, because the standard deviation, this symbol here, is just the square root of variance. So we're taking the square root of 20. It's approximately 20. It's not the correct answer, but it's approximately 20. So I did that wrong actually. It should be the square root of 20. Okay, that's our standard deviation, and that's it basically. It's fairly simple maths, but it's just getting the procedure right. Just to summarise, you've got your probability distribution table to start with. You've got expected value, medium and mode, the 3 measures of centre that you can calculate. Then you've got the 2 measures of spread, variance and standard deviation. And that's about it. So have a go at exercise 14 if you're using the current textbook, and see how you go. Good luck. Do your homework, please.